Good afternoon. Would you please introduce yourself for everyone at home?
My name is Pieter VanIperen. I am an expert in security, kind of all things to it, but specifically application security, cloud security, product security. I've been a software veteran for over 20 years, and I run a small firm called PWB Consultants, where I'm the managing partner.
So my first question on this topic is dumpster diving or trash picking legal?
Yes, trash is public domain and is legal and for the taking. There are some very specific, I can't say everywhere, there might be specific, county or town ordinances, but many of those ordinances, if I'm really targeting you, are essentially slaps on the wrist. And if you're not knowing that slap on the wrist happened, I'm not caring about that $250 fine. On top of that, I would say that most of the times too, where you can get caught for dumpster diving is when you transcend into encroaching on someone else's property, aka trespassing or breaking and entering if you're climbing a fence or unlocking a fence, things like that. Here's the thing though. Everywhere in the US, there's trash day. And on trash day, trash moves generally to a public area where a truck can come and pick it up. And as soon as it is on the street, it is a free-for-all for everyone to have and keep and do whatever the heck they want with it.
Do IT assets like hard drives and computers pose the same level of risk as, say, physical documents?
It's a mixed bag question. The general answer is probably something with a hard drive is probably the worst thing you can throw out, because a hard drive is non-ephemeral and could have a tremendous amount of data. However, if you have a hard drive full of your children's photos, and no one's going to care about that, and then you also throw out a single page document that has the password to a multi-million-dollar Bitcoin wallet, I care a lot more about that single document. And so there really is no one is worse than the other. The truth of the matter is what is contained within those that really makes one worse than the other.
What sort of criminal activity can be perpetrated using things that are found in the trash?
People throw out everything, and they really don't think a lot about what they throw out. And there are many more actually social engineering things you can do with garbage than anything else. Like, sure, you can steal someone's identity if the right documents are leaked. You can definitely call up and spoof and pose with account information to, an electric company, a gas company, etc. So there's definitely, simple kind of identity theft and spoofing things you can do. The thing is, you have to kind of hit gold to do those things. However, you can piece together a considerable amount of what's going on in a person's life. Everything from places they've ordered food from, what kind of food, I'm just gonna go with food for a minute, what kind of foods they like, maybe foods they don't eat, daily practices that they have, what are places they shop, bulk shopping. So there's a lot you can do there with just that information to start to create social engineering patterns. A lot of social engineering or case building or criminal activity, when you go down that path of hacking a person, you usually take one of two paths. One is you're duping a person, right? And we call that the accidental actor, right? Which is the person who doesn't really know they're being taken advantage of or conned, etc. The other side of it is the leverage actor, which is someone who you apply a pain point to. You either find some compromat on them, or you threaten them or scare them or panic them into taking some action. And trash can be hyper effective for that, right? It can be as simple as, listen, I'm a parent. If someone, if I don't know and someone calls me up and tells me something's going on at my kid's school or something like that, can I go in a trash can, find kid stuff, diapers, etc., maybe find paperwork from the school, etc., piece a couple of things together to make a scenario authentic enough for you that I can now leverage you, right? And it's not even that, because sure, the accidental would be like, there's something going on in the school. The leveraged is like, if you don't do this for me, I'm going to steal your kid or do something terrible, right? And you know, oftentimes these threats might originate from oceans away, but you don't know that, right? Numbers being spoofed, etc., and it can be terrifying.
What is the best way to protect yourself from this type of criminal activity?
Always professional disposal, whether it's burn box or shred box, especially for anything sensitive, is always the recommendation. Custody is really important there. So normally it's under a locked box. That box is handed over directly to a vendor who is then essentially liable for your security. So you better trust that vendor, but also we'll be honest and we talk about, there's no risk scenarios. You're at least moving the risk to the vendor and saying, oh, I'm going to sue you if something happens, right? And then they unlock it and they literally dispose of it in a very secure manner. I think short of secure vendor disposal, you always want to look at shredding, destruction. Go start a fire in your fire pit if you have one and you have some really sensitive stuff to get rid of. I have a mother who is an avid shredder, but she also feels that if there's no shredder around, tearing something up into like 10 pieces is the same equivalent. Absolutely not.
Is there anything you'd like to add from your years of experience as a security expert and instructor?
The only thing I would say is I think it's important for your audience to really know that this is a real thing. It sounds silly, but I teach this in my course. I am not the only person who teaches in this course. This has been taught in every course I've ever taken on this material. There are continuing education credits specifically on creating dossier and reconstructing things from garbage collection. There are law enforcement agencies that have special groups that know how to do this very specifically and kind of under the radar, and same with intelligence groups. This is a real thing that occurs regularly. It is not like a weird, extraordinary thing. And most often, it's the actual most often vector is what we call like the pickup, which is where you don't actually even go diving in the trash can. You just wait for someone you surveil them, you wait for someone to throw out something that you think is valuable, and as soon as they throw it out, you go and pluck it right off the top of the trash can. You don't get dirty, right? So, and that's very unnoticeable, right? That's not someone coming in and like digging through your trash, right? So just be cognizant of what you're throwing out. It's a real thing. It's really out there. Identity thieves use it a lot. And it's not gonna, I mean, as long as we have trash, it's not gonna go anywhere. So, I mean, everyone giggles when I introduce it, when I teach, and then when I actually go through it, the giggles stop real fast. They're like, oh boy, okay. Didn't think about that. So yeah, you know.